Hello, all my lovely internet peoples, and welcome back to Story Time with Mom. And today, I am asking you to dive once more into the deep. Move quickly, but carefully, Guardian. Sisters. A register of tokens and gestures exchanged before the end of sisterhood. Shiro, my sister, you have worked too hard to move the carcasses out of the birthing room. Come, steer the ship for a while. Take joy in what our needle can do. Shiro tried to protest, but secretly she was so glad for Oresh's care. She flew the needle ship in cutting circles down beneath the sea, and their wake rose up to the surface like a trader's dying breath. Oresh, lonely navigator, we have traveled so long with only each other. I know you love to hear and speak new tongues. Come, sit in the flesh garden room. I will read you these stories I bought at Kaharn. Oresh sat among the mummified flesh fans with two of her eyes closed and listened in silence to Sathona's stories, hungry to understand, voracious to know as much as she could before her 10-year life died. Later, Shiro said, Sathona, cutting mind of ours, you grow lonely in your thought, play swords and lanterns with me. But Sathona was heavy with sorrow and couldn't pretend any joy as she chased Shiro through the needle's glistening halls. Sathona, pensive one, what is it? What troubles you? Her sisters listened as Sathona said, oath-bearing siblings, we are 5 years old. For 2 years we have worked to repair this ancient ship and understand its systems. I am almost too old for the mother jelly, and the knights who killed our father are surely dying of age. We 3 will die here, in exile. Teox will outlive us. And Oresh, brilliant-eyed Oresh, you will die of old age long before you have proof of your god wave, or any way to stop it. Oresh and Shiro looked at each other. I wish you weren't so honest, Shiro said, and Oresh thought that Sathona had never been wrong. In her soul, Oresh knew that the only way to keep their oath was to find a great, powerful secret, a secret that could change everything. This was Oresh's soul, her fire and her shadow, her desire to cut through the flank of the world and find its beating heart. We have to dive, Oresh said. That's what the ship is built to do. Dive into the Fundament, the world below us, toward the core. That's where the ancient crew died so obscenely, Shiro protested. That's where the atrocity in the birthing room was born. We have to dive, Sathona said, following the whispers of her familiar. In the world beneath us, in the metallic depths, I hope we find what we need most. More time. More life. The dive. For life, Sathona dove. For vengeance, Shiro dove. And Oresh dove to understand. The needle ship pierced the skin of the world and burrowed deep, through layers of foam and metal and cold elemental slush. Oresh devoured the ship's maps of the Fundament, from the high angelic cloud decks down and down through storms and oceans and plates of floating world into the crush of the core. They met monsters of continental scope, vast anemones that raised glowing tentacles to bait them in. Shiro flew the needle ship through them, and they bled black carbon jelly and frost. They came to a still place beneath a plate of metal. I'll use the sensors, whispered Oresh. Listen. In the wet gold dark of the helm, they listened to the ship, and the ship listened to the crushing motions of Fundament. They heard the collision of continents, they heard the patter and crash of helium neon rains, they heard the struggles of monsters, and they heard the distant groan of the ocean rising, tugged by distant moons. "The syzygy is real," Sathona hissed. "It's already begun." Behind them, Shiro thought of the birthing room, where ancient explorers had labored over surgeries and administrations, peeling back the chrysalis and the caul of that which they had made from the deep, whose birth none of them would survive. "There's something down here," she whispered. "Something secret." And the Leviathan loomed over them. Its brow is huge, all the continents of their childhood, and its great array fins crackling with the lightning of its life, booming into the hull of the needle ship in a microwave voice. "You must turn back. Save yourselves from the deep. Save the world from yourselves. You must turn back."